Hi, everybody. Today we are talking about the idea of help for seniors. This could be help for your elderly parents, if you are a caregiver, or your grandparents, or a spouse, or even yourself, if you are an aging adult. So the question is, what is involved in help for seniors? I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. On there, a lot of help for aging adults, caregivers, and those who want to plan for their care. When we talk about help for seniors, many times we're talking about living environment and how to help seniors stay at home, because most people who've lived in their homes all of their lives want to be able to stay there and not have to leave to go to a care community or a nursing home or somewhere else. And the problems that cause us to leave when we are older actually start years before. They start in middle age. Believe it or not, sometimes even as early as our 20s and our 30s, if we begin to have health issues. Chronic disease, high blood pressure, things like diabetes, COPD, arthritis, any type of physical issue is considered a chronic disease. And many people take medications for those issues. Those over time can become significantly worse if we don't learn how to manage them in our middle age when we're younger. And so what happens is when we are 50 or 60 or 70, all of those issues that were maybe a little troublesome in our 30s, 40s, 50s become a lot more troublesome and a lot more problematic. And sometimes they actually multiply. Heart disease can turn into difficulty walking and issues with circulation. It can turn into vascular dementia. Many diseases relate to each other and can create more chronic diseases if we don't learn how to care for them. So that's the first tip in help for seniors is if you have a chronic disease today, how do you learn how to manage it? How do you learn how to navigate with that healthcare system? That help is on my website at PamelaDWilson.com. Other things to think about are who will help you, who will care for you, and more importantly, to have those discussions today, years before you're in that position of needing care, and you think that your kids are going to be able to take care of you, or your best friend will take care of you, or your spouse will take care of you. Really, until something happens, we don't know who is going to show up, and it's better to have a plan before that happens. To talk to your kids and say, well, if I'm older and I need help, can you be available to help me? And what might you be able to do? But even more important as an adult, it's to figure out how we can ensure that we have care and be in control of that situation. It involves understanding what the costs of care are when we're older. Medicare doesn't pay for everything. Everyone thinks that the government and Medicare pays for all of the health care that you need when you're older. That is not true. And that was one of the biggest shocks that most caregivers have. They say, well, what do you mean Medicare doesn't pay for that? Medicare doesn't pay to keep you at home when you're older. Medicare pays for doctor's services. A lot of people don't know what home health care means, what an assisted living community costs, what a caregiver costs if you have to bring that person into your home. What happens when you're older and your house is too big and you can't take care of it anymore? Who is going to help you sell that house? Or should you, when you are a little bit younger and a little more healthy, sell that house and move into something that's more practical for you when you will be 70 or 80 or 90 and you want to live independently? It's great to have a lot of stuff when we're younger, but the more stuff that we have, the more stuff we have to take care of, and the more expenses we have. And when we're older, having all of that stuff can be a huge burden. It can be a lot to take care of, more than we want to take care of. And then what happens if you get a diagnosis like memory loss, or if you have a diagnosis of memory loss in your family? If your parents had Alzheimer's or dementia, do you know why? Is it something that's hereditary, or was it related to a health condition like heart disease, and it was vascular dementia? Understanding the health conditions in our families and of our parents can help us be more proactive when we are younger to say, wow, heart disease runs in my family. What should I be doing today to make sure that I don't end up like my parents? My own mother was sick most of her life because she was a heavy smoker, and it turned into heart disease. She needed bypass surgery. And that bypass surgery and the smoking caused so many health issues, which is why I became interested in caregiving. And I've been doing this for 20 years. I made the decision that I didn't want to live like my mother and be sick in my 30s and 40s and 50s. My mom died at the age of 69. It's young. And it really began so many years earlier. Now, I had the benefit of watching all this, which most people don't have. Most people don't have parents who die when they're very young. And today, more and more caregivers, though, in their 20s and 30s, are becoming caregivers for parents in their 50s and 60s who have a lot of health conditions. If you're that young caregiver, learn from that. Make sure that your life doesn't turn into the life of your aging parents. So the question of how to help seniors and how to take care of seniors is to learn about all of the things that can happen and to relate that to our own lives, because eventually, no matter how old we are today, we will eventually become that senior, that older adult who needs help. I'm Pamela D Wilson. There is help on my website in my caregiving library, my weekly podcast. It's called The Caring Generation. I have online courses for caregivers. You can also schedule an elder care consultation with me if you're having issues with a care situation, if you need some advice and help, and especially if you want to plan for help when you're older, or if you are a senior who is alone and you're not sure exactly what to do, I can help. Thanks for watching this video. Please share it with other people that you know. I will see you again soon in another video.